Welcome to our Build a Village series, sponsored by Stencil Girl and Judykins.
In the first episode of our Build a Village series, I'm creating a great set of etched stenciled slate coasters. They would be a perfect housewarming gift. To make the stencil a little easier to work with, I gave the back a coat of Etchd's Reposition Reuse Stencil Spray. It's a tacky spray that makes it adhere to the surface that you're stenciling temporarily. Do that outside, and when it dries to tacky, you're ready to move on to the next step. The individual house panels on this great houses stencil from Stencil Girl happen to be the perfect size for these slate coasters. I went ahead and adhered the stencil to 3 of the coasters. I started with the 3 different patterns that I wanted to do first. Once it was adhered, I gave it a press, and then I went ahead and applied a thick coat of Etched cream. Let that set 15 minutes, return it to the bottle, and then clean your coasters, and you'll have this great etched design. I then went back and etched the 4th coaster with the pattern that I wanted for that one. Trace the coasters onto some coordinating felt and cut out the squares to service the backing. I used Fabri-Tac adhesive to mount the felt to the back of each of my coasters. Now it's time to build a container to hold the coasters. I'm using 3 wooden slats. They're 3 by 6 and about 1/4 inch thick, and I'm going to stain the top and the outer edges with some color stain and let that dry. Once the stain was dry, the next step was to trace the panel 3 times onto some coordinating felt and cut out 3 pieces. To assemble it, I first used some Fabri-Tac adhesive along the edge of 2 of the panels and adhered a piece of felt about 1/4 inch in on either edge. We're building the base of the container. I turned it over and then used 527 adhesive around the outer edges and a bit on the center too as the base for the holder for the coasters. I turned the side slats vertical and glued the bottom edge to the outside sides of that base piece, and then that felt piece that we added gets glued over that bottom piece. I then cut 2 more pieces of felt about 1.5 inches wide to serve as the sides for the container. I cut 2 of those pieces and they're about 4 inches long, and then I use the Fabri-Tac adhesive to mount them to each side of the container. These pieces of felt will hold those sides up as the glue dries also, and will help hold the piece together to hold the coasters. I'm going to cover where I'm gluing them to the wooden slats, so it does not matter if they're exactly evenly mounted on the 2 pieces of wood on the sides. Once those 2 pieces on the short edges were added to hold the piece together, I went ahead and glued the longer pieces of felt that we traced from the slats to the insides to cover those little strips on the sides and finish off the inside of the coaster holder. Now this next step would have been easier had I decided to do it before I assembled the box, but I decided I wanted to add this row of houses after I had put it together. I gave this Once Upon a Time stencil from Stencil Girl a spritz of that stencil spray and mounted it to the side of my wooden box. Then I used a color sponge and some relic gray chalky paint to stencil over it, and I'm left with this great little row of village houses to decorate the front of the box. As you can see, I did stuff my box with something to give it a little bit of a more solid surface while I was stenciling. This box of spaghetti just happened to fit, but you could use anything that fit your box to hold that side up if you goof and decide to stencil after instead of before, like I did. Stack your great etched coasters and insert them into the box, and you have a great gift for someone, or a perfect way to display them for use in your own home. We hope you're enjoying our special Build a Village series. Please follow us on social media and sign up on our website, and you could be a winner of a prize box full of some of our favorite sponsors' products. And as we always say, when creativity knocks, open the door.